love mythology. Medusa. Centaurs. Satyrs. Yeah. Legendary creatures spun from tales of adventure and bravery. The representation of man's flaws into monstrous beings that they would have to overcome. Those were some exciting times. And one Greek myth really stuck with me. Pandora's box. You see, Pandora was the first woman created by the gods and she was blessed. The gods decided to give her a box which contained all of the world's evils and ills. Pandora, being a very curious person, decided that she would open the box, releasing all that evil onto the world, such as pain and death. It's in this myth that we find Legendary, a modern interpretation of that tale. Mythology plus guns? How could it possibly go wrong? Oh, fuck, dude, I think I've gone deaf.
What?
I said I think I've gone deaf, I can't hear anything.
How can you be deaf? You just responded to me.
Well, of course I can be deaf, I can't hear anything, there's no sound, look! Look! How is this not making noise? How is this making noise?
Shut up!
I can't shut up, I'm deaf! I can't hear anything! It's always a good sign when the game's intro cutscene is lacking any sound or music, very encouraging there. According to the Steam forums, this is a rather common bug. Now, I could look up the cutscene on YouTube and supplement the footage, but that would be taking the easy way out. And like my great uncle Jim said right before he kicked the stall out from underneath him, never take the easy way out. Therefore, I have decided to become a Foley artist and add the sounds myself. Enjoy. Click, 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 click. Boo-doo. 7A. That's it. 3, 5, 5, 7, 0. Enter. There we go. That should be the frickin' I just paddle. That's a lot. Well, that looks pretty ominous. Yeah. Let's get over there. Click. 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 The slot here. Clean it up and easy and That's unusual. There's a hand thing. Let me just put it. Oh! Oh God! Oh God! Oh my hand! Oh, the pain! Oh. In summary, we fucked up. Here we are. This is Michael DeSanta. Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. This is Deckard. Sorry, got a bit confused there. Not sure why. Just got a bit confused. Sorry about that. Hired by a shady organisation known as the Black Order, which sounds like some sort of cheap black nationalist Facebook group, Deckard is tasked with stealing a relic from a museum, which we know as Pandora's box. Probably thinking he has to steal whatever's inside the casket, Deckard tries to open the box by placing his hand against it because perhaps he thought that this was one of those ancient relics with a hand scanner, and releases the horror inside. Now it has to be said, things start out pretty frantically and cinematic, loads of effects and lighting. Oh look, there's some fire too. Neat. The mark left on Deckard's hand is called the Signet. A brand given to him by the box allows him to channel life energy, or animus vitae if you're classically inclined. This essentially is the game's main mechanic. Instead of curling up in a corner waiting for your body to heal from major wounds like you're entirely made out of stem cells, Legendary sees it fit to have you absorb this life energy left behind by enemies with a hold of the F key, and then heal yourself with it with the same hold of the F key. This, if you can't tell, is really, really dumb. I'll get to why it's dumb a little later on. For now, let's enjoy our escape from the museum. Legendary's going for this very cinematic, almost dramatic path experience where events trigger as you move. We've all seen this before in about 99% of every other FPS game ever, where buildings collapse, people are dragged away by monsters, things explode, you get the picture. It happens a lot in Half-Life 2, a game I'm going to shamelessly use as a measuring stick with which to compare this game. What's immediately apparent is that things happen. Now, I know that's quite the groundbreaking, dead-on critical analysis that things happen in a game, so let me elaborate. Legendary tries to encompass the entire carnage-fueled spectacle of a Michael Bay flick, which sounds good in theory. Loads of things sound good in theory, like communism and owning a giraffe. What I'm trying to say is that Legendary is very action-packed in its visuals, but you're just there. It's so disjointed. The player just walks through as the roof caves in or people burn to death, but why should I care? It doesn't affect me in any way. I'm not in danger. I'm just supposed to look at it. Imagine a ghost train. Perhaps it's scary at first, but imagine sitting on the train for 5 hours going round and round. Sooner or later, you're going to get bored with the same cardboard cutout of a spooky ghost that pops out in front of you. So what I'm saying is, it gets old fast. I mean, it's boring. I honestly couldn't think of any. Oh, it's a spooky ghost! And I haven't even mentioned the hilarious death scenes. People in this game die as if it's just a simple inconvenience, or they're trying really hard to impress an acting coach. It's comedic, and it takes you out of the experience almost immediately. In Half-Life, when people were pulled kicking and screaming to their deaths by mysterious horrors in vents, at least it was jarring and well animated. This is just... Oh, the pain! Oh, it hurts so much! Oh, where's the doctor? Oh, this is a terrible thing to have happened to me today. Oh, the humanity! Outside the museum, we see stuff happen. Again, very impressive, but very shallow. It looks great and all, but nothing interacts with you. Griffins swoop down and snap people up while ignoring you as if you're the one crusty hors d'oeuvre at the buffet table. I'm so bored already that I'm swinging my axe at fleeing civilians with the hope that at least one of them will acknowledge my existence, but nope. They're all just set pieces that get killed and forgotten about. Mercifully, the game sees fit to give us a gun, putting the shooter in first-person shooter, Legendary. I like it. Okay, I have a lot of issues with Legendary. One of them is the complete disconnect between the entertainment factor and the cinematic shit I'm subjected to every time I walk halfway down a ruined street. Another could be the fact that this was made in the Unreal Engine, the very same engine that gave us the beauty and the majesty of Bioshock Infinite, and yet this looks like it was built from the same graphical engine you get in a toaster. It's not even the platforming, or the stupid points of difficulty, or the bullshit deaths. It's the monsters. Mythology, the Hydra, the Chimera, the Manticore, the Centaurs, Harpies, Cyclopses. Okay, they're all Greco-Roman, but what about the Yaramayahu? The small little red dude who eats people in Australia, have you heard of him? Like that country needed another thing that could eat you whole, but still, all these monsters to pick from, all these legends, and we get some generic fucking rock bulldog. A fucking boring boulder that looks like it was from a design your own Pokemon contest. I wouldn't mind, but the game file says this is a fire drake from Teutonic mythology. Sorry, let me just Google the term fire drake and see what I get. See that? That's what I think when I think about fire drake, not this. Further still, the next enemy we come across are werewolves. Actual fucking werewolves, like we haven't seen them in hundreds of other games. Don't push the boat out too far, lads, because on this utter piss puddle of creativity you guys are tapping into, you might fucking lose it! No, that's unfair. Moving on from the enemies, the story so far is that we've opened Pandora's box and we're trying to meet up with our contact within the Black Order, the organisation that hired us to find the box in the first place, called Vivian. The head of the Black Order, Ormond Le Fay, betrays both Deckard and Vivian, having planned the opening of the box in the first place. He sends soldiers to kill them both, which ends up in hilariously bad gunfights. Once we meet up with Vivian in the subway, we're introduced to Lexington, who's a very poorly modelled person, by the way, who's from the Council of 98. They're a clandestine organisation working for the betterment of humanity, and they oppose the Black Order. Lexington, for some reason, decides to forgive Vivian and Deckard for jump-starting the fucking apocalypse in return for help from two people who are basically civilians, except one has a funky magical tattoo on his arm.
Oh, this is so dumb.
All the magic mojo in the air decides to bring all the rubble together into a giant anthropomorphized mass called the Golem, who just screams shitty boss fight. Sounds cool, but we fall into the sewer, are attacked by invisible pixie-like creatures of pure nightmare fuel, and we set off some EMPs to disrupt and bring down the Golem creature because Pandora's box is inside the Golem mass, again, for some reason. It sounds cool, it does, but it's honestly very, very boring and poorly executed. Post-Golem death, we're sent to a secret base of the Black Order, where LaFay has kept intelligence on Pandora's box. On the flight over, the helicopters are attacked by griffins, because the highly trained, privately funded military corporation that is the Council of 98 forgot that the skies are filled with helicopter-destroying griffins. Why the Council of 98 though?
Incoming griffins!
This is as good a time as any to discuss the Signet and the power of the Animus, and why, as cool as it sounds, it is very, very dumb. See, Animus energy is dropped from mythological beings, even though it's just life energy and should be, by all accounts, released from numerous soldiers you engage with, and to collect it you have to hold the F key. Any Animus you're close to, facing or not, will be drawn into this meter here to fill it. Holding the F key once more will heal you with the Animus energy, unless you're standing near an Animus source, which will fill up the Animus meter and not heal you when you need it. And when you're getting swamped by all manner of fire, rock frogs and stupid pixie things, this is an annoyance. Healing by holding F also removes your ability to fire and therefore defend yourself, even though the Signet takes up one hand. Double tapping the F key releases an Animus Blast. It's a short range pulse of energy that pushes enemies away from you and reveals invisible enemies. It's a move that's non-damaging, unimpressive, and uses the same source of energy you use to heal yourself with. It's good if you're getting utterly mobbed by creatures, but ultimately it can't save you from death. I dislike the Animus system wholeheartedly. With one measly Animus power to show for it, the Signet is a crap gameplay mechanic. See, it's genuinely very easy to critique the decisions the designers made with Legendary. So, I'll continue doing just that. The guns are lame. And for a first-person shooter, that's not very good. I honestly don't know how to properly explain this, but there are games with a certain gun feel. You know, when you click the left mouse button, it's almost as if you're there, rifle in hand, feeling the whole thing kick back, an explosion of sound and animation that makes each bullet an experience to savour as they pour through your enemies like pebbles through water. Legendary's guns, however, feel as impressive and as forceful as the spluttering coughs of a sickly bunny rabbit. They carry all the gravitas and weight as a truckload of helium on the arse end of the moon. Do you see where I'm going with this? You point the thing downrange, hold the trigger down, and things are usually expected to die. Fighting other gun-wielding humans is like having a Nerf war wrapped in bubble wrap, with bullet impact and aiming coming down to what can be equated to either some shit force of magic or luck. And the enemy AI is so drearily abysmal. With each corner I pray for another generic fucking werewolf to come and tear my face clean off like a pre-sneezing germaphobe crawling for a napkin. Rifle, pistol, fire axe, shotgun, they lack any sort of excitement that I find myself sprinting into fights in the vain hope of bringing joy to a grey, joyless puddle of poorly executed dribble. But I must digress. Like many bad games, there's a certain nostalgia people have for Legendary, and as easy as it is to rag on it, there are parts the game does right. Although for most of the game the Griffins have just been rather inventive set pieces, there are parts where you're expected to shoot them out of the sky with a rocket launcher, which is pretty fun. The Minotaur boss fights are quite challenging and give the game a bit more urgency even though they're sparse. It's fun to vault about the place avoiding a charging bullman while pumping him full of buckshot. As stale as the set pieces are, the level design isn't particularly atrocious. The penultimate Kraken fight is pretty badass, if a little rudimentary. Then again, seeing the Houses of Parliament in ruin makes me a tad uncomfortable, I have to confess. I'm sure Americans don't feel the same way about the New York level, but seeing the Kraken violently hug Big Ben in half, well, that's such a powerful statement against British culture. It's horrifying, it's unbelievable, it's bloody not on! Even though large tracts of the world have fallen into the grip of the Black Order, and all odious creatures of mythology shall not flag nor fail. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight them on the rooftops. We shall fight them in the streets of New York or some cathedral somewhere. We shall fight them with terrible guns and poor AI. We shall win the game, however boring it may be. We shall never surrender.
What the fuck? You were wearing a bowler hat and bow tie. Where did they go?
What?
You were Winston Churchill for like 30 seconds there. What happened?
What?
Do you not remember you did the whole speech, the "We will fight them on the beaches" speech?
Huh?
Are you still pretending to be deaf?
Yeah.
Thankfully, the plot seems to wrap itself up at Black Order HQ. LaFay, in a plot thread so undeniably befuddling that it'd rival even the best David Cage could come up with, has built a machine to control the creatures, allowing him to rule the world. Oh, and he took Vivian, I guess. Really motivated by such a well-versed and coherent narrative told to me throughout the story that I absolutely give a shit about her. It's like Alex Vance all over again. And really, there's very little explanation to help us digest this masterful scheme. As levels go, it's basic, it's the usual. Shoot, run, kill, shoot, something happens, elevator.
Are disabled. I'm on my way up. Get to the power control booth and wait for me there.
Wait a sec, that wasn't... Right, let's try that one again.
Shoot, run, kill, shoot, something happens, elevator.
All security cameras are disabled. I'm on my way up. Get to the power control booth and wait for me there.
Huh. Oh no.
What you're seeing here, beloved audience, is a glitch. A glitch that breaks the game, a glitch that stops us from accessing the final level, a glitch, might I add, that has been well versed by now. Look at all the internet results about this infamous elevator glitch. Seemingly, it has something to do with the game's frame rate going insane inside the elevator, turning Deckard into a fucking ghost and shitting him out the bottom. To fix it, I had to access the game's config folder, turn the max smooth frame rate to 30, run the game in a painful 30 FPS, get to a checkpoint, and then return to 300. Now, I'm not very computer savvy. For all I know, well wishes and dreams are what makes my computer run. I have no clue of the technical details. So changing this config option, as simple as it sounds, was like hacking into the fucking Matrix. And I don't want to be Neo. Don't make me Neo, game! Trinity isn't even hot though. At the top of what has pathetically been the greatest challenge so far, the mythical ghost floor elevator, we're greeted to a rather familiar scene. Do you remember at the very end of Half-Life 2 where you fight through waves of enemies to try and stop Breen from using the Combine teleporter at the top of the Citadel? Yeah? Well, you remember how that was good? This isn't. Pandora's box is in the centre of the machine, which LaFay is trying to use to control the creatures somehow, and we need to use Animus energy to overload it. And considering it takes a few full amounts of energy to do so, it's choresome. Imagine this. Imagine you're trying to win a war with a very powerful tank, but the tank operator refuses to drive the tank unless you filled his glass with lemonade. But it's not a regular sized glass, it's a really fucking big glass, and all you've got to transport lemonade to him is a thimble. Seriously, with the terrible AI, over-reliance on poorly firing but rather powerful weaponry, and a hilariously atrocious NPC ally that comes fresh out the University of Cannon Fodder with barely a passing grade, it's a drawn-out endeavour, but by no means does it once present any challenge or drama. And what's the payoff for all this? Legendary does not live up to its name, or not in any positive way anyway. It feels like it's hanging on the coattails of a lot more popular FPSs like Half-Life 2 and Fear, both of whom overshadow it in almost every way. There's a scene at the end that I didn't show you where Deckard is sort of holding the signet to a griffin and he's sort of taming it, which would be cool. If they had that in the game, that would be cool. Why couldn't we have that power? Some carry fond memories of Legendary, perhaps for nostalgia's sake, even though it came out in, 2008?
Dude, 2008 was 9 years ago.
What, really?
Yeah.
Fuck! Anyway, if you were one of the people that genuinely enjoyed Legendary, then good for you. We all have stuff that's widely regarded as crap that's near and dear to our hearts, so I can empathise with you. But for me, Legendary certainly doesn't cut it. It's buggy, badly made, boring and slow. It really didn't impress, and it made me rethink my favourite tale about Pandora's Box. I mean, if you're given something this important, this remarkable, surely you'd keep it safe. You wouldn't be clumsy with it. You wouldn't just, oh fuck. Fucking stupid CGI werewolves end of the world of pop. Hello fellow bin raiders, and thank you for watching the new Indie Bin. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below, comment to tell me what you thought, or consider subscribing. But that's all for now, bin raiders. Keep bin raiding, and I'll see you next time.